This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 8th year of talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is the Alex. This is Alex, and this is the Ramble. Ladies and gentlemen, out to San Francisco, California, we go for the lovely strains of Larry Bubbles Brown. Hello, Bubs.
Yeah, it's a holiday, happy holidays, which I know we both hate. So
Yeah. Well, happy holiday to you too. And let me ask you a question. You were supposed to go get your eyes done, right?
yeah, this is a bad story. So
It's a bad story.
yeah, it's
Well, mind you, I told him that getting this is what for
cataract.
cataract. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bubbles Brown is with us. He is the author of the book, We're All Gonna Die. Yeah, last time we were
But we'll
talking.
suffer great pain before that happens.
Last time we were talking about people who had died prematurely in many cases, and you were mentioning Dan Blocker died of a gallbladder operation. I mean, who dies from gallbladder operations?
Yeah,
you know.
It's,
I mean,
there's always that any type of surgery that can happen, I guess. But
we always are very upbeat about this, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever you hear me say Larry Bubbles Brown is going to be with us, just zip through. You can zip through to the file, zip through past us. Otherwise, you're going to be really depressed. But what were you saying about you said something to me before we went on here about
we were talking about Robin. I said, do you ever worry about dementia? And
what? I don't worry about dementia, although, you know what it is? I take this pill. It's called pregabalin. It's a Jerry Lewis drug. You don't get to have a real I don't trust any drug that Jerry Lewis would not have said.
yeah, you said this makes you feel loopy.
Yeah, so this makes me feel loopy, but it also makes me forget stuff. And sometimes I'm sitting here and I'm going, okay, I got to start talking to Larry, and now I've got to press a button here to get the thing to record. How do I do that again? I've done it a million times.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes me worry about depression, about dementia, but then again, it doesn't, because if I stop it, all of a sudden all this stuff comes back easily, So I know what it maybe is like because of the drug, but I don't have it, and I don't necessarily worry about it, I'm more worried about it with my wife. She has memory issues lately.
Really?
Yeah. And I would hate to see that happen to her, because then I'd have to wipe her ass every time she shit. And I'm a selfish son of a bitch. I don't want to have to do that.
Well, men, we're not good caregivers. So.
Well, I'm not a great caregiver, but if I had to be for her, I would be. You know what I'm saying? There's some things you got to do that you don't want to do. That make sense?
Yeah, I guess you're. Yeah, I wouldn't. I would be horrible at that. So.
I mean, I've had friends who have had husbands who were dying, and they were there taking care of them. You're right, though. Guys are not great at that.
No.
Guys are not great at something else. The guys are not great, if I'm not mistaken. Guys are not great at going to doctors. We don't like going to doctors. My wife is saying, "Oh, listen, you're having trouble. You're breathing a little bit. We got to send you to a pulmonologist." And I'm going, well, I don't know if it's that bad. I think it's all the dust and stuff from the work they're doing out here. which you can probably maybe hear a little bit of buzzing going on outside. And you know, I'm not going to a pulmonologist for that. She has, I swear to you, if I went over and looked at her calendar right now, she has at least like 2 or 3 doctor appointments a week.
The little women love that.
And
yeah,
she's not dying of anything, but she's got 2 to 3 doctor's appointments a week. Oh, I'm going.
We actually wait till we're dying before we'll go.
Guys do not like going to doctors. You know. I mean, if you're really sick, then you go to a doctor. If I felt I was on the edge of dying, I would go see him. You know. But she gets a hangnail. She goes to the hangnail doctor, you know, and she's amazing, and she's always yelling at me, "You don't go to the doctors enough," and I'm going, I don't want to go to the doctors, you know. I know we have insurance, but I don't want to use it all up. That means I'm sick, you know. So I mean, but guys are really don't like going to doctors. But women do, and I don't know what that is. I don't know what there is in the female component that you know makes that happen. Do you hear that pounding?
Yeah, it sounds like a dog barking.
See, they're working outside. This is this thing they've been doing.
Oh, that cleaning they're doing.
Yeah, they're doing it's called pointing. It's like an Irish setter, pointing. But what they do is they, you know, in a brick building, they literally go to in between all the bricks and remove all the cement. And then where they're bad bricks, they replace those. And the good bricks stay there, but they just put in new stuff. And they've been doing this. It's been going on for at least a year or a year and a half.
Expensive.
Oh. You know what's expensive? All the buildings in New York where you work. I don't know if they do this in California. Stop it! Anyway, where you work, where they're working, they put up this scaffolding around the building so that if, like, let's say they're working on the bricks and the brick falls, it's not going to hit anybody. It's just going to hit the, you know, this. It's usually around the first floor. It's like this skirt that goes around, okay? I call it, what happens is I find that when they put these things up, homeless people like to sit under them. And so I've come to refer to ours as a homeless shelter, you know. Anyway, they do this, and and they have a courtyard, and that's got one of those things there to protect you. And I mean, this has been going on but that thing that goes around the building, I heard costs, because they rent them out, $50,000 a month.
Wow.
You know, who knows how much this is costing them?
So they're going to pass this on to the tenants?
Oh, I don't think they can pass this on to the tenants. I think there's a law that every so often a building has to do this, maybe every 20 or 30 years. Could be it's never been done since the building was built. And they've removed whole like sections of cornices and things like that, which they then send out and they make new ones to put in because it's decorative, okay? And I mean, it's just been going on forever. Just going on forever. And then there's some guys in our not the lobby, but our lobby to this floor, the 8th floor, we're bringing bricks up and taking them up to the roof. And that's been going on for weeks now. I mean, it's just, you know, come on, get over it already. I'm told that by spring this will be finished. It'll be over. But it's a beautiful building, and it's got this thing around it for $50,000 a month. So, you know.
Jesus.
And then they sit there hammering and drilling, and that goes on all day. And, you know, if I had a job to go to, I wouldn't have to put up with it, okay? But I do, because I'm unemployed.
Yeah, that sounds pretty loud. I can hear it.
Yeah, I'm retired, yeah. Yeah, well, they must be close, too, I think. Because they have these, they have these platforms that go up, these, what do they call them? hang off the edge of the building, and then they go up and down and up and down. They work on those all day. I don't know if I would want that job. Begin with, you got to wear a mask all day because of OSHA, because of the dust. And then
those platforms don't look that secured. I mean,
something, they really don't, but they are. I mean, none have fallen in this thing. They seem pretty solid. But they also move them, too. They go up and they move the whole tracking and everything over so they can get over to another part of the building. I hope that they just hurry up and get it over with. My side of the building here, they've been doing forever, and they've only done half of it. They haven't gone over to the other section because they can only do as much as the platform is wide. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How
big is your building? How many floors?
It's 8 floors.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 8 floors. Our sister building, called the Anthorpe, is 12 floors. And the reason it's 12, the reason why it's 12 floors, the other one, and ours isn't? The other one was built about 10 years later. And if you go to it and you look at it, except for the fact that there's also an entrance on the other side of it, it's the same exact footprint. I mean, you can look at the courtyard. It's the same courtyard. But the reason why that was 12 floors and this was 8 floors, because it had elevators. And at that point, elevators were hydraulic. And you could only build a building or have an elevator that went as high as the highest level of water on the island. Okay? So supposedly, I guess the highest they could go was 8 floors.
Oh.
But by the time they made the 12 floors, they were electric elevators. See, now you know the rest of the story.
Well, it sounds like a great building.
Oh, it's a magnificent building, but the landlords that own it don't take care of it. They do what they got to do so it doesn't fall apart. This building was built it was finished in 2000. It is 122 years old.
Wow.
And it was built. The concept of the building is that these were mansions that were built on top of each other, basically. These were high-end living facilities. And so, almost half a floor. One apartment was half a floor. Right in this apartment that I'm in, if you look at the end of the hallway, there's a doorway. And that was all bricked up and made into 2 apartments. It's a magnificent old building, and the landlords don't give a shit about it. I mean, they don't need to. They figured that they needed to. They're not restoring anything.
No, they just want to extract money from you.
Well, they took some of these apartments, and they made them into 2 apartments. Okay. Wow, that's getting loud. You hear that?
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. I hope people are enjoying this. Is part of the entertainment. We're going to charge you. We're going to charge you for it.
And do you have neighbors on your floor?
On our floor, we have 3 neighbors, 2 other neighbors.
You never see them.
I see them. Oh yeah, we know both of them, and they're very nice. And one of them has been here so long that he can tell you the history of the apartment and the building and who lived here and when they lived here and all of that. But we still have problems with our landlord. With the deal that we made. They keep sending us a bill every month and they say in arrears $2,500. We've paid them every penny, and now I'm finding out it might be because our lawyer, who said he was going to pay them some money, they never cashed the check or something way back when. But anyway, we're okay. They're not going to throw us out of here. and I think they were supposed to appeal the they made a notice that they were going to appeal, and then they had 6 months from that notice to appeal, and it appears as though they haven't appealed.
Wow.
So if that's the case, we got this place for a really low rent.
You might finally be done with it.
Well, it could be. It could be. They still send us a bill every month. They send us a bill for $2,225 minus something or another. I don't know what they call it, and that comes then the rent comes to $507.
Wow. Jesus.
500. Wait a minute, no, 500. Wait a minute, yeah, $500.07. I think it is. Yeah.
And your place is bigger than most homes.
Oh yeah, this is ridiculous. It's almost like we're not paying rent at all, But they never appealed it, and I think they had 6 months to appeal it, according to my lawyer. When I first talked to him, he said, "Well, they said they were going to appeal it, and they filed a notice that they were going to appeal it, and then they never appealed it." And he said they at that time he told me they have 6 months to appeal it after that notification.
So you're set.
I guess, I don't know. Knock on laminate or whatever this is, the top of this. Is that wood? There's the wood underneath it. There we go.
Well, do you have to pay for heating?
No. It comes up from downstairs. It's radiators.
Okay, I was thinking like a big place like that would cost a fortune.
Of course, that is a big fight my wife and I have with each other. She calls them, I think, radiators.
Right.
Yeah, and I call them radiators. And
I think you're right.
I think I'm right. Yeah, well, I said it's not radiator, it's radiator, because what you're talking about is a device that radiates heat, right? That's why it's called a radiator. It's not called a radiator.
Right.
Yeah, it radiates heat. No, it doesn't. It radiates heat. We have that argument, too. But anyway, it's a great building. It was built by the Astors. And it was meant to be literally a group of mansions on top of each other. And then as years went on, they became apartments, and then later on in years, it fell to disrepair, and in fact was the featured building in New Jack City, in which they take over this building, and at one point, trying to remember who the actor was, points to a picture of the building, and then he points to a window and says, "This is where we'll build the meth lab." And that window is our kitchen.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so our kitchen is the meth lab in New Jack City.
But when they made that movie, the place was not in great shape.
No, the place, and it was called the Carter in the movie. Although outside it says Graham Court, which is the name of the building, and because we have a big courtyard on the interior, that's why you hear all that pounding out here, and we have this big courtyard and everything, and that played predominantly in the movie. But at that time, it really was a crack house. It really was a place where they were dealing drugs out the first floor windows to people. Yeah. So I hear about those days from my neighbors, and how lucky we are that it's not that way now. But the history has building has wonderful history. But here's the thing. Now, hold on to your breath. This is a gigantic building. It's 8 floors. It has something like, is it 100 apartments in it? I'm thinking 100 apartments. Yeah. And when it was first built, it was even less because they were bigger. It's a huge building. It takes up a really nice chunk of the block, and so on. Okay, so that taken into consideration, a few years back, this thing was in such disrepair that it owed money to the city, and the city decided to sell it off because it fell into their hands. And they bought this apartment house for, I think, and I may be wrong, $150,000. Okay?
Wow.
And they had to pay the back taxes or something, which was another $150,000. So for $300,000, they got this building. Well, I mean, wouldn't you think? But at that time, it was the people who were living here were selling drugs, and it was just horrible. And the people who lived in the building lived in terror. And they did nothing about it. They just sent out the rent bills every month. Now they have a piece of property. I would imagine this thing is worth a couple of $100 million.
Jesus.
At least, if not more. Hell, I would have bought it back then if I knew it was for sale. But back then you wouldn't want it because it was like a drug palace here, And the neighborhood was not a good neighborhood. It was a very dangerous neighborhood. So there was no reason except for what I call slumlords to buy it up.
Now are you in Harlem?
Yeah. And these
well, Harlem kind of went through this renaissance in the last 30 years, right?
Well, last, I'd say 20, maybe, and really the last 10. This neighborhood, when we first moved into it, this corner was pretty dangerous. Somebody got shot at our front gate. Shot and killed at our front gate on New Year's Eve. It was a dangerous neighborhood at one point. And so, the only people that would buy an apartment house here are slumlords, people who were taking advantage. So these are guys who were slumlords.
Yeah.
Okay. But now they're not slumlords any longer because this isn't the slum any longer.
No.
So, that changed the whole thing. It's a great building. It's a lovely building, but it would take a lot of work to get it back to the way it was, and not to just rebuild or whatever, but to restore. You don't want to ruin the beauty of this building by just simply replacing the mosaic tile in the lobby with brick, or something like that. You want to restore everything, and to restore everything in this building would cost a fortune, and I don't think they want to do it. So,
I'd love to see some pictures of it.
I'd send you pictures, but it would take too long to download. Still not got that fast internet, huh?
It's coming.
What do you mean it's coming?
I'm going to get some fast internet.
Oh, really? You have to order it up?
Yeah, there's some deals.
In other words, it's available in your building.
It's finally, yeah.
Do it! I'm
going to do it.
You're sounding like, well, I've finally given up.
I've given up on everything.
Well,
yeah.
I've thought that at this point, the reason you're such a Luddite is because you don't want to ruin your reputation. Whenever anybody says, how's Bubs? I go, well, he's just still, he's still got that flip phone. That was always a big thing. He's still got a flip phone. Everybody in the world has the kind of phones, the flatter phones. But anyway, go ahead with your flip phone. Go ahead with when you send a text on your phone, you have to, if you want a B, you have to push the A twice, right?
Right.
Yeah, one of those. Oh boy,
that's a little annoying, but.
Well, if you just got one of the, they're cheap enough now, and I'm sure you saved enough money.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not the money. I just don't like smartphones.
Yeah, I'm sure you've saved the money over the years.
Oh yes, I'm a wealthy, powerful man.
What have you spent it on?
I want to move to the Dakota. Speaking of interesting buildings.
Yeah. This was like about the third building like this. I think the Dakota was the first one that was like that. Big, beautiful. That was the building, folks, in case you don't know, John Lennon got shot in. he was coming home, and the guy came down, shot him dead.
God, we're coming up on the that'll be the 42nd anniversary,
Really?
December 8th.
Really? Wow. Well, I guess, boy, time passes so fast. Just so fast. You're what
So
now?
John Lennon has actually been dead longer than he was alive.
Wow. You're right. You're right.
'Cause he's 40 when he died.
Yeah, son of a bitch. Yeah. Yeah, he was, it was sad. I was saddened by that. I had quit the radio station. I'd have to say this quickly. I quit the radio station. I said I want to go back to New York because I was just homesick. And he died, and I went into the general manager and said, "Do you mind if I stay?" Because now New York represents nothing but death to me, And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "Here's a raise." So that was nice.
Wow.
Anyway, hey, look, we've run out of time here, Larry.
Flown by.
It flies by. I mean, I just have a conversation with you, and you're very conversational, and we don't have to talk about politics.
Yeah, that should be avoided at all costs.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to have that respite. And we'll see you again next week for another respite with Larry Bubbles Brown. Thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Alex.
They're hammering away.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 8th year of talk like you've never heard it before.
Okay, there they go. There goes Larry. Yeah, bye, Larry. Bye, Larry. See you later, Larry. Anyway, so let me see here. Here we go. I'm so out of it tonight. I'm sorry, folks. I'm getting to the point where I'm just this breathing thing is getting to me. And I'm breathing okay. I mean, let's see. I mean, I'm doing all that, but for some reason, I'm just not feeling 100%. So I don't know. Maybe this is just what age is. Maybe this is what getting old is. Maybe I should just pack it in, But then, something, if I packed it in, if I didn't do this every night, I would die a lot easier, a lot earlier. Yeah. So, Anyway, we're going to check out the citizen panel here, who we are getting in here at the same time. Let me bring them in here. Let me see here. What is this one? Brian.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, there we go. It was like this big black square. It was this void.
I forget to plug it in.
Yeah, by the way, as I've said, Jack is not on the air until January. And tonight after our show, you want to do a little hour here, Josh?
Sure, if you want.
Yeah, it's a kind of a hard thing for me to do, but I'll do it. I have to turn off here, then I have to turn on there, and I have to get Zoom going and the Zoom feed, which will go out over Facebook. You'll see the video on Facebook, on my Facebook page. So, which is Facebook.
Jeff's fancying a nice little fluffy jacket there. Jeff, don't you get a heater?
Not around here.
Well, I could say the same thing.
I have plenty of heat, but then my wife is here. And she doesn't believe in heat.
Oh, really? Well, how about our landlords? They don't believe in heat either.
Yeah, I know.
So
Pam grew up in a New England old house that they didn't have any heat practically, and they decided, well, what the hell?
What do they do for heat? I mean, where was she brought up?
In New England.
In New England. It gets cold up there.
I know, but
it gets really cold up there.
It was like 200 years old.
Yeah, so has it got fireplaces?
One.
One?
Is she in the room with you?
No, well, she's on the other side.
He's talking smack about Pam, and
I got the door closed. What are you kidding?
Yeah.
And plus, her other sisters are here too. So.
Oh no.
Well,
What's terrible about Pam is if he says smack about her, she can sue him because she's a lawyer.
That's right.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, that's not bad though. Being married to a lawyer. Because when it comes to looking at contracts and things like that, she can take a look at them, right?
Yeah, that's true. Although she often will look at them and say, all right. And then she call the attorney who's going to do the project.
Yeah.
And she goes, I got 3 questions. And she goes, this, that, and the other thing. She says, okay.
It's $100.
She's retired, so.
Yeah, it's $100 a question. There you go.
Well, my question is, like, I went through this whole thing, right, with the apartment, right? And I had to hire lawyers. Now, if somehow I was a lawyer, could I just handle it myself? Mm-hmm. Or would I have to get outside counsel to handle it?
I mean, sometimes it's just better. It's a better strategy.
In what respect?
Well, if you're not the attorney there, you can kind of say certain things, and maybe they're not exactly what the judge might say if you're getting sued or whatever.
There's a saying: an attorney that represents himself as a client.
Yeah,
I think a lot of lawyers have some specialty, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I'll say my
A real estate lawyer and a criminal defense attorney are probably two totally different.
Right, and there's so many different.
Well, I was getting charged with murder. I would not get my landlord attorney or my
not at all.
residential attorney to take care of it. You know.
No, when Pam kills me, she's gotta have to get a better attorney.
You just call Rudy Giuliani and he'd take care of it.
I don't know. He doesn't have a law degree anymore. He doesn't have a law license or a bar license or whatever.
Details.
Details.
Another guy.
He's got a big ring on like half of his fingers, and you know he bulges his eyes out from time to time. It'd be fine. Everything's fine.
So what I saw today was that they have a documentary out on the life of Al Sharpton.
Didn't know that.
And I'm wondering, does it really cover the time that I forget the head of the NAACP leveled him and knocked him to the floor with a punch on a TV show, on Morton Downey Jr. show?
Really?
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Oh yeah, that was when he was big and fat, and he was like he was a pain. He was just in recent years he somehow has gotten credibility.
Yep.
All right. But I never, even though I give him that credibility to a certain extent, because when I hear him speak, he's reasonable and all that, and I still don't trust him. I don't trust him because of those days way back when he was just trying to get newspaper coverage, you know. And Al Sharpton was looked upon as a bozo. He was a clown.
Yeah. He also looked like a slob too.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
He was. Did you see him? He lost a lot of weight, and he kept it off. To his credit, he kept it off. Yeah. But anyway, anyway, nothing new really in the news to talk of. You know. So I'll see you all later, and we'll let Josh take over the show from here. You know.
I mean, I suppose there's a few things going on.
Okay, like. I don't want to spoil what you're going to do. I don't want to ruin what you're going to do next hour, though.
We won't. It's okay. I mean, but people like to. Well, I mean, whatever anyone wants to talk about. I mean, this prisoner exchange deal. I know you guys talked about it last night. That was, one of the main things today. Senator Sinema from Arizona is going to leave the Democratic Party and become an independent. So now that everything's over with, she needs everyone to pay attention to her a little bit more.
Well, so does everybody like what's his name from Vermont, Bernie Sanders? Just because he's an independent, do they pay attention to him?
No, but I mean that's what she wants. If you ask me, it doesn't strike me as someone who's 100% interested in doing really what she thinks is right and all that.
I don't.
I don't.
Well,
have
they say
particular-
she didn't do it because she wants to get even with the Democratic Party.
Oh, I don't think.
No,
it's
she
that.
did it because get this, and you may not know this is a statistic. Over 50% of the voting public in Arizona, where she is from, are independents.
Really?
Yeah,
It may be. I find that a little hard to believe.
It
that
is.
They're all registered that way.
no,
but-
they are. It is one of the few states where independents rule the day. And so
Yeah.
I think she wants to be recognized by those people. She's trying to win because it doesn't look good for her in the next election. Okay?
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think she likes being talked about and being on TV. But, not she didn't do it because of that. I'm just saying. I don't think it bothers her though.
Yeah.
She, that's happening. Really the one that you have to watch out for. They covered it a little bit. It's not really been in the news. Is that the court did hear a case on Monday or Tuesday or whatever on election laws. It is possibly going to be very important. The North Carolina redrew their electoral maps the way that all states do after the census, and it was a very gerrymandered redistricting map. So the natural result, you see this in other states too, right? Somebody sued and said, no, that's not fair. Okay. And it went to their state Supreme Court, which is what happens in these cases, in almost all these cases. And their state Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that. That's not a good map.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfair. It's not representative of the people and, all that. So they threw it out, and then I don't know if they made some changes or whatever, but it got to a new map, which is the map they ended up using because the Supreme Court of their state had thrown that map out. And the U.S. Supreme Court had refused to step in and issue a stay and all that kind of stuff. So that became their new map. They had to live with it for the election. But during this time period, they filed lawsuit in a few federal courts, and it went back and forth, and has found its way to the Supreme Court. And they are arguing that state Supreme Courts should not have the rights to check redistricting maps. In other words, when the state legislature redraws federal districts, which is within their right to do every 10 years, the only people that could have any say after that are the people themselves by voting those folks out, or Congress by passing certain laws that would regulate how states do that. Other than that, they are saying that no state Supreme Court should be allowed to throw these maps out or say this side of it was good. They should have no say whatsoever. It should purely, strictly 100% be the legislature, which is a pretty radical change if you think about it, because most of these state Supreme Courts have stepped in on a lot of these and said, no, that map went too far. You have to massage it or throw it out, start or whatever. It happened in Ohio. It happened in Wisconsin. It happened in a few states, big states, a lot of people, a lot of electoral votes. But, they basically are saying, if they have a good majority in their legislature, when they redraw that map, they can do anything they want and make it nearly impossible for a member of the opposite party to get elected. And the U.S. Supreme Court or anyone should not have any check on that. So that's pretty radical, it's a pretty radical change. It's actually a potentially a very large and important case. So I listened to the argument on the way home while I drove back from Illinois. And the court let the argument go 3 hours. Typically does not go nearly that long, but they sort of changed those rules a couple years ago, and they can, they basically let the argument go as long as they want anymore, and the Chief Justice let it go 2 hours and 55 minutes or whatever. It was pretty good back and forth. This theory, by the way, was basically cooked up by and pushed by the lawyer named John Eastman. I don't know. So do you remember that was Trump's post-election lawyer this cycle?
Yeah.
So this is one of these crazy deals. And I understand some of their logic, but it is quite radical. And that's something that's worth talking about maybe tonight or something like that. Because I don't think it's what probably popped into everybody's mind, okay, how they think it'll go or whatever. I mean, there was a pretty heavy dose of skepticism from Kavanaugh, from Justice Barrett, from the Chief Justice. I mean, some of those folks are pretty constitutionally strict. But
what happens to the rest of them? I mean, that is a very biased court now.
Well, I don't know. I don't completely see it that way. I see it that way on certain issues because of their judicial philosophy. But this is one of the ones where I'm saying that it doesn't really have much to do with the fact that this is being pushed by the Republican Party in North Carolina and a radical Republican lawyer, because, like I said, Justice Barrett and Kavanaugh and them, they have a fairly strict originalist sort of bend on their way they look at the Constitution, or at least their, the way they interpret. And, I sort of heard a lot from them saying, you're kind of trying to say that it says things that it doesn't say, and I mean, and that's what I'm saying. They're not really looking at that as, any sort of political, move or anything like that. I mean, they just, that makes it kind of interesting.
Let me ask you this question, though, Josh, and everybody else here.
Yeah.
Yes, we realize gerrymandering's a terrible thing, and redistricting is a terrible thing, and the way they're trying to redraw these maps, which benefit Republicans and don't benefit Democrats, is really questionable, really horrible. But do you think the public really cares? I mean, or is it just too complicated for them?
Yeah, I think do they understand?
Huh?
Yeah, like maybe people don't understand how that's done.
Yeah, because I wondered, So
I don't wonder if most people got to hear about it before it actually is happening and it's done.
Yeah,
but each state does a little different, and you're right. It is a little difficult. Some of them have just the legislature can form like a committee and do it. Some of them pass laws that said it had to be done by like a company they hire, like a nonpartisan group. And I mean, they all have their own, laws and things. And
I mean, we had
every state can do their own approach, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, they redistrict here and added a district, I think, in New York.
Yeah, that happened.
And that's where the Republicans got another one of their congressmen.
Yeah.
It was from that,
Yeah, stuff like that happens, a certain former district could maybe get district out and combined with another. So you're still going to end up, like same number of electoral votes, representatives and all that. But, it's divided up differently in size and proportion. And, I mean, we've all seen these things that look absolutely, ridiculous, I mean, districts that are just here and then up and over and here. I mean, made to just literally go through, or go around every single, populated area that might have African American voters or something like that. I mean, just ridiculous stuff. I mean, like the district that I lived in, it changed again. It's changed every census for the last couple. And I mean, it's, because I live in a rural area, but it's not that far, 30 miles from a metropolitan area. and they always go right around it and come down here and hook us in, and I end up in a district that's literally like 80% Trump, this last election or whatever. I mean, he was like 81% or something. The one that I live in was the most Trump district in the state.
Yeah.
So, they're never going to, want to change that. But that's what they were taking a look at is, when that map gets redrawn, if the Ohio Supreme Court throws it out, which it did, they're saying that can never happen again. They just redraw it, and that's just it. Mm-hmm. There's, the only thing that can ever trump that would be a federal law from Congress where, like the supremacy clause would come into play. You can never make a state law that violates a federal law.
Mm-hmm.
The state could put certain mandates in that says you have to do this or you can't do that. And we all know that's going to be very difficult to do, right? I mean, I highly doubt, the U.S. Congress is ever going to, put in any kind of a regulation to not do this. They want to do it. That's how they get their, saying they have a vested interest in not doing it. So that's never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a fairly big case.
Does anybody here? Let me change the topic a second. Does anybody here know what NFTs are?
I know, but I don't know.
It's like non-fungible something or another's.
It's one of those stupid new things like that fucking crypto or whatever.
Well, I don't know if that's exactly what it is, but Kevin Hart, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Madonna, Jimmy Fallon, and others
they've lost money.
Are charged with insidious NFT endorsement suit. Now, what is
Tom Brady too, Alex? Too.
No. Tom Brady was on the.
Was he in another one?
No, that was for that. That was for the crypto. This isn't crypto.
Okay.
NFT.
Yeah, and it's like a similar thing, some sort of electronic.
Is it
world deal? Yeah. I mean, I honestly don't understand it at all, but supposedly it's some sort of electronic token that someone gives you that can be worth money.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Well, let me look it up.
Well, I know they have digital cards now, Josh, where they're trying to push those things.
People are giving those things away.
It's crazy what they're trying to do, and they're endorsing this stuff. I mean, I guess you pay.
I mean, it's very strange, but it's some sort of like token.
Oh, okay. It's a non-fungible token.
But what is that?
Okay.
Yeah, really.
Non-fungible token means that the token is unique and can't be replaced. Let's take Bitcoin, for example. Bitcoin is fungible. Since you can trade your Bitcoin for another Bitcoin, you'll end up with a Bitcoin in both cases. However, NFTs are more like Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah, that's what they're like.
What are Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Now they're really. I mean, am I getting old? Am I just getting old?
I don't know what that is.
They made so many of them now.
What are Yu-Gi-Oh?
But where is it, and how do I get it, and all that? What do I do with it? I don't know.
They grade
more like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, one-of-a-kind trading tokens that if you trade one for another, you'll receive a token different from the one you gave away. Huh?
It's adults. Can I ask you a question, Alex? When you were in, if somebody came up to you, your agent, at one of these, when you were working out in San Francisco or New York, would you have wanted to back a currency like this if they said, "Hey, listen, like I don't understand why these celebrities have all this money. Why would they even want to back like crypto? I know they get to pay them. I get it, but wouldn't you really be like, I don't want to do this?" Really?
Well, what I don't get, here's the part that bothers me, is that when they go crypto, and they go all the way on crypto, and then the crypto falls apart like it did with this company. I can't remember the name of it, NFT or something or whatever. I can't remember. No, that's we're talking about NFTs, but all of a sudden they lose all this money. I don't feel fucking sorry for them.
No, I don't, because they're stupid. I feel like they're being hucksters though. The celebrities doing this, like,
FTX or something like that.
Yeah, FTX. That's the one. Yeah.
Like, perfect example, guys. Like, I can run this by you. Like, I'm watching the Knicks game tonight, right? And I'm always seeing for what's his name? What's that comedian's name? I like Kevin Hart. I know they're paying him money to do BetMGM, I think it is, or whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
It's like, you think with all the money he has, you think the agent would say, listen, Kevin, do you really want to have your name out there where somebody can get a gambling problem because they see you doing it? I don't get it. Like, are they that greedy?
Suppose they're going to pay him $10 million to do the commercials.
But wouldn't you feel a little thing like, I don't want to do it I don't want to get somebody hooked?
Well, look, you're asking the wrong person. The reason I'm not rich is I have scruples. You know.
That's what I'm saying. Would you have done that, Alex, if they came up to you and said, listen, say if somebody gets...
No, I said I have scruples. I have scruples, and I would not want people to bet their life savings at MGM because I did a commercial for MGM, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, there's Alex. If he's doing it, I'm going to do it now. Yeah, but you're making money. I'm not.
But now, here they come at me and say, okay, $10 million to just do one commercial. One commercial. What are you going to say? What are you going to say?
I mean, if you already established
$10 million
that's a
for
lot of
one
money for
commercial.
Mom, we can get a house. You're right, but he's got a lot of money already, though. Alex, is it they just getting
maybe he has $50 million. This makes him $60 million.
I know.
Richard.
When does it stop, though? Like, is it never enough? I don't get it.
Oh no, it's never enough. It's never enough.
I mean, how many times can you travel the world? You have everything.
See, we had a time where when you made a lot of money, you made it because you were a big businessman and you were an Andrew Carnegie and you did it in steel and you did it in coal and you did it in this and you did it in that. And now you're a billionaire if you're a Kardashian. And what the fuck are they selling?
My brother mentioned that today. We were doing the reality TV. How did they ever become this? She's like a billionaire, my brother was telling me.
Oh, she's a billionaire, and one of the other sisters is a billionaire, too. One of the...
I was like, no way. He says, yeah, where you living? I says, really?
Yeah, no, the two of them are billionaires now. Kim and... I'm trying to remember the other one.
Not Chloe.
No, it's not.
She's always fat in those spandex.
Well, it's not one of the Kardashian... It's one of the Kardashian... sisters, but the two younger ones by what's his name?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's her name?
The lawyer.
What? No. What's his name? The guy in the Wheaties box.
Bruce Jenner.
Bruce Jenner. Yeah, they're Jenners.
I still can't get over that guy.
One of the Jenner kids was the first one to hit $1 billion.
Yeah. Kylie Jenner or something?
Kylie, that's it.
Kylie, yeah. But then she's already done.
And excuse me if I said he, I mean she, but then that would have thrown this group off.
I need to go to school on it. I don't get it, really.
Except Tony.
Yeah. But, no, I mean, but you know, they didn't have railroads. They didn't do anything. These girls just, you know, these women, they're not girls any longer. These women just managed to be influencers or something. I mean, it's not really tangible. You know, I wouldn't even know where to buy a Kardashian product. Okay,
I don't get the whole thing really.
Maybe in their company stores.
Don't say that too loud.
If she sold coffee, I may be interested.
Wait a minute. Yes?
Alan knows your address, so don't say that stuff too loud.
Oh, okay. So he's going to send me stuff from the Kardashian collection. He can't afford. He can't afford it. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably I bet you a fleece blanket's like $100.
He's already Googling it. I can see him right now in his glasses.
I was watching the replay. Phil's got a book. I saw he had a coffee table book showing you. It looked like he was hawking it.
What?
I was watching the replay where you and Philly had some kind of book he did.
Yeah. But we live in a time where this is just ridiculous. And then these non-fungible tokens. Yeah, boy. Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I don't understand how they work, so I'm not really sure.
And then if you have a computer, you can actually be a Bitcoin miner. What's this? I get a little hat with a light on it, and I'm sitting at my computer. What? I don't know
what the fuck they're doing.
I don't get it.
I think it's a little scam.
You know.
Yeah, the NFT things. I just don't understand how it works or whatever.
Well, I wish I knew how it worked. I mean,
I know. That's what I'm saying. I get this email last year from the Cincinnati Bengals. It says they're giving me an NFT for the AFC Championship. You know, conference champions NFT or whatever. And it's like, okay, I mean, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that?
Well, nobody has been able to answer this to me since Bitcoin is not really a coin. You know, it's only electronic transaction. Let's say I need some money. I want to take out $100 out of the bank.
That's a good point. I want to go buy groceries.
What's that?
I can't. You can't see it good. I shit you not. Chloe Celebrity Prayer Candle.
She's got candles that smell?
8-inch glass prayer candle of Khloe Kardashian.
Of Khloe Kardashian?
Of herself?
Chloe Celebrity Prayer Candle.
Oh boy.
That's the first thing that popped up with Amazon.
It's of a picture of her face?
Yeah, it's a picture of her
She
face.
loves this stuff. It's like insanity, really.
Of course it's insanity.
It's like I got a picture of myself on the. If I would have got that from mother, she would have threw it out the window. Come on.
Do you know that when they ask young kids today, what do you want to be when you grow up? Yeah. You know what the top answer is?
I'm afraid.
Influencer.
Yeah.
Really?
Kids wanted to be astronauts and doctors and.
Yeah, I wanted to be an astronaut. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Influencer. Where do you study? What college do you go to study influencing? You know.
You remember History of the World when Mel Brooks is going for his unemployment and Ward's behind him and he says, "Well, what do you do?" "I'm a philosopher." "You're a bullshitter." Next.
How
He's
about
trying to
Trump
make it like you're something else.
How about Trump University for influencer?
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, you always bring it back to Trump. You should give up on Trump as a punchline.
All right.
No, really, I'm saying this only because, really, he has nothing significant going for him now. Okay. Only that he's the first person to say he's running for president, and I think he did it a little early. You know,
like about 3 years too early.
Well, about 2 years too early. I mean, he should have waited a year until everybody else had done it and then jump in, and then he could monopolize the conversation. By the time they get around to actually doing this thing and getting the people to run for, you know, the party nomination, everybody's tired of him. You know, he should have just laid low for a couple of years and then come out of the woodwork, you know? Then he would have been welcomed by his people.
Well, just trying to stay sharp for when we put him back in, you know, because the election was stolen and all that.
Well, we know the election was stolen.
If he doesn't play for a while, he'll be rusty when he comes back. So he's just trying to, do the right thing.
We all know the election was stolen. Let's not even argue that one. Okay.
Oh, boy.
I'm saying that for the benefit of Phil, who might be listening. You know.
He doesn't believe that.
Don't say his name, please.
Well, yeah, if you say his name 3 times, yeah. It's like Beetlejuice. Yeah.
I like that you don't remember half the times he was in the apartment. Remember?
Yeah.
When is he ever going to leave this guy? You got to run out, Alex.
Yeah.
Definitely stolen.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, I don't understand all this stuff, and I think maybe it's just I'm too old to understand it. I'm not with it. You know, I'm not going to argue that maybe we need a new monetary system that isn't as how can I put it, as just can't fall apart as easily, you know, as ours does from time to time. I mean, let's face it, our money isn't based on anything in particular anymore. We don't really have it backed by silver or gold or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when the government needs more money for something, they just print it. Just print it, you know? And it goes up and it fluctuates and it goes down, you know, but at least it's something tangible. But I don't know what happens with Bitcoin, how I trade that in for cash in my pocket. Because somewhere along the line, I've got to get cash. You know, I've got to get American dollars in my pocket for those Bitcoins in order for it to work. It doesn't work just being out there being a Bitcoin. Now, some people will accept Bitcoin, okay? And in that case, it makes a lot of sense.
Prostitutes, probably.
Listen, you know something? I got to tell you a story. It's something else they're doing here in New York. They just announced that in the subways, they are no longer going to accept. They're no longer going to accept the cards you swipe. They will only accept Apple Pay and other forms of, using a phone. Okay, I'm sure there's an Android version of Apple Pay that will work. Android Pay or whatever. But they're not going to take cash, and they're not going to take the cards you swipe. You have one of those cards, don't you?
Yeah, I have a bunch of them. Yeah,
sure.
I kept some of the old ones too.
Yeah, but you just swipe them and you go. You're good to go. They're not going to do
the
this.
old token.
You have to use a what do you call it? A phone. So what happens to people? And the people who use the subways, many of them aren't people of means. They don't have a cell phone. How do they pay to get on the subway?
Start jumping the turnstile.
Yeah.
Larry Bubbles Brown can't use it.
And by the way, they have yet to. I have a senior pass. They have yet to convert over to senior passes on here. So I can't use it. What?
I wonder where the big saving is with getting rid of the cards. They still have the machine that scans the stuff.
No, they don't. They're doing away with the machine that scans the cards.
So then, where do you do your phone then?
There's a thing on the front of it. They have them right now. It's a thing on the front. Right. You just tap it on the front of the thing.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. That's not going away, right?
No, that's not going away. But what I'm saying,
so the only thing they're actually going away is the actual
that and cash.
Right, like the cards. I'm just saying, wonder what the big saving is in not making those little cards anymore.
The plastic. They're just nothing.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It's not like they're saving $1 billion.
But I just wonder, what does this do to people who don't have? There are people who don't have cell phones. They can't afford them. They can't afford them.
Right.
How do they get on the? How do they get on the subway?
Who can afford?
And also, the Lincoln Tunnel is doing away with you being able to use cash, because you used to be able to throw cash into the bucket or whatever, and go on, or hand money to somebody and they give you change. They're doing away with that. All they're going to do is, if you got to have one of those little things on your windshield. Well, suppose you don't have one of those things on your windshield. Oh, you know what happens if you don't have them? You just go through and they send you a bill. But how expensive is that over just taking the goddamn money at the station?
Yeah, they should keep the guy there like the old times. Remember, just going Jersey, here's my money.
I understand the modernization of things, but you don't do something that's going to prevent people, a certain class of people, from using your system.
I see the guys asking for money at the corner street, and then they go a couple feet away and they start checking their phone for something. It's like,
what do you mean? I don't. What do you mean?
Like the guys at the intersections, asking for money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I lost my job. I just need anything will help. And you give him money. I see the guy go across the street to the bushes, and he's over there looking on his phone for something, probably telling his wife when he's coming home.
Yeah, right.
Hop in his Mercedes and leave.
Yeah.
Tony, did you go to high school or something where you had to get on a train?
Actually, yeah. For me to get to school, I used to take the 58, which is like 3 blocks up, and it took me all the way to 3 blocks. It was in Ridgewood, all the way about 3 blocks away from the school, so we would get off and then walk the rest of the way. It was in the border of Ridgewood and Brooklyn.
How did you have to pay
took the bus every day?
But he said, how did you have to pay for it?
Yeah. We had a bus pass, so we get a reduced price to school. We give it to us.
Well, wasn't that the time when you could actually give them cash
we actually got it at the time they gave us a school pass, and then you would just show it to the guy.
They had a thing in San Francisco on the buses and so on that I remember it because I loved it as a kid. If it was like a dime or something to ride the bus, you just throw the dime into this thing, and it just made all kinds of noise, and the dime fell to something underneath, and go ahead, but
that's the way I went to high school, except there would be like 3 months or something where they give you a instead of using a coin, they'd give you a strip that you were like, okay, you didn't have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very different all the time.
Yeah, boy, I
It
was
worked
in
out all right.
that school. They give you a stripper.
Not a stripper, a strip of. Yeah. I went to only boys' school. What can I tell you?
Oh, oops.
There were no
But
strippers.
I'm wondering if there isn't some kind of a legal action that could be brought against this sort of thing by certain racial groups who say, hey, our people don't all have cell phones. Okay? A lot of old people don't have cell phones.
A lot of homeless.
Who
don't
else
have-
uses the subway? The homeless, of course. Well, the homeless, they've always had a problem with that. They never had any money.
In San Francisco, they're giving out iPhone 14 Pros to the homeless.
What? No.
I'm kidding.
No.
They are giving out free phones everywhere, though.
They are giving out free phones? You say,
Oh,
Ken?
yeah. All over the place.
Why?
Cheap Android
Why not?
phones.
Well, how do you pay your bill for the phone, use of the phone?
It's
You
free.
don't-
Huh?
It's free.
It's
It's
free.
free. It's free.
And who gets these phones?
Homeless, drug
The
dealers.
homeless, they got one right down here in the corner. They're always setting up a tent and they say free phones, and they go up there and they give them a phone. And I don't know how it works, but they get them.
Mm.
I see more homeless people around here with phones. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
After they're done with them, you could probably use them as burner phones.
Well, when I was a boy, I had to pay for my cell phone. Wait a minute, we didn't have cell phones. I remember, what I remember, my first memory of a phone was we only had 4 digits as a phone number.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And a prefix. You had, and it was a word.
Yeah, Diamond 246.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, mine was Filbert 1253 or something.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And every phone was just a Bakelite phone. Do you remember that?
Yep.
And nothing would break those things, by the way. Those things
You
They'd
could
last
chuck
forever.
them.
you
They'd
could.
chip, but they wouldn't break.
I don't know if it ever happened, but I think you could actually kill somebody with one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were that heavy.
The black ones. Remember the
Yeah, the black ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was
that's
I'll tell you what was terrific about those phones is, and I've said this before, nothing you could do would break them. And I wanted to see that. I often felt that when I was getting into advertising, which I never really completely got into because I liked radio too much, I thought of a great ad for the phone company, and the ad would be, remember that time you had that fight with your wife? And you yanked that phone out of the wall? And you threw it against the wall? And then when you were through with the fight, all you had to do was grab the phone, because it didn't break, and just screw the screws back into the terminal.
Wire it back up.
And you're back and working again. Well, we're AT&T, and those are the phones we make.
Yeah.
I like it.
Really, and I mean, it's true. Those things
They had the
were indestructible.
wiring.
That's why whenever you got mad, you pulled the phone out of the wall. You just went, hey, fuck you, and then, okay, I'm feeling better now. Okay, where's my screwdriver? And you just screw the thing back in.
Made you feel good.
Yeah.
That's right. It's a feel-good phone. You grab it out of the wall, you hit the old lady with it, and you plug it back in.
Look, there's a shadow on the wall of Tony's apartment.
Oh, that's cute.
My mother had a princess phone. I remember
How'd you
that.
do that, Ray?
Ray, you don't have any audio.
He's got my mother's knick-knack cabinet. I
Got a shadow.
Ray always screws around with his picture while we're doing the
I
show.
like that he got me.
I got a thing from somebody on my Facebook page who was complaining that people sometimes, like when people are walking down the street, you do that, Ray, walking down the street, or are showing the neighborhood or whatever, that it's very distracting because everybody else is stationary and it's moving. And it becomes distracting. And in your case, you always have a tendency to use, like, you've only got one light on your face right now, right, Ray? We can't hear you, Ray.
Yeah, keep talking. Maybe we'll hear you.
If you shout loud
Yeah,
enough,
louder.
maybe we'll hear you.
A little louder.
Wait a minute. What, Ray? No.
Oh yeah.
Can't hear you, Ray.
We can read your lips.
I was just gonna say slow down so we could read the lips.
Yeah.
One time I went to
Take
I
the
went to
computer and
France.
throw it out the window.
You went to France, yeah?
And I had to meet my son on the other side of this train entrance, and I couldn't find where you would pay.
In a phone in Europe. Here's the thing: in England, great system. I loved it. This shows how what the British were thinking. Okay, you go to a payphone, you dial the number you want to call. You do not have to put the quarter or the shilling or the whatever into the slot until you get your party. Until that point, there's a bar that's in front of where you put your money and you can't put it in. And as soon as the person answers the phone, the bar goes up and you can put the coin in. Now, I thought that was very honest. You know, like, we're not going to take your money. How many times did you use a payphone and you didn't get the person and then you hung up and the coin never came back? You know?
Yeah.
They didn't. That never happened in England. That was pretty cool, I thought.
That's usually the time you find out that the receiver won't break when you hit it against the phone.
What is with Ray's picture?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to fix it. I'll just get rid of the fucking thing.
Now we can hear you.
Just get rid of that.
I know.
Well, yeah.
There.
What do you have? Only one light or something?
Yeah, the fucking lights start. I had to move my desk, and I have no light.
Oh, because it's like you're.
Is it okay like that?
Yeah, it's much better. Yeah, it's much better.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was getting kind of a little annoying.
Sorry.
That's
I
okay.
wasn't doing it on purpose.
Somebody's gonna write to Alex and complain anyway. So.
Yeah, I know, it's so fucked. I'm so sorry.
Well, they complain. I get a complaint every now and then about Alan eating.
Really?
I haven't eaten on the show in a month.
You really haven't. He's been
In a
very
week?
he's been very
No,
good about that.
I watched myself afterwards on to catch part of the show, and I said, "God, you look horrible eating. Stop eating on the show."
Well, here's somebody who wants on called Megan Smith. Shall I try?
Oh, Megan. Old Megan.
Megan?
Jeez. No.
I've never heard of her. Let's see here what the story is. Let's see if it works. Hello, Megan. Are you there? Let's see. Turn on your phone. Turn on your audio. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Stop video.
What the hell was that? Holy shit.
Well, that was Megan Smith, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, will that demonetize me.
That was me.
It was a picture. It was a picture of Tony masturbating.
That was me at the bottom. It's not gonna hurt. Oh, it hurts.
Okay, well.
Oh no. Okay, now we're going to Josh's show. Hey.
How do you top that?
Oh boy.
I'll top it if you want.
No.
Okay.
I think somebody was running a video. You know.
I hope so.
Yeah.
God, I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Well.
What was?
Wasn't
Was
Megan,
that any?
sure.
Was it anything?
Wasn't Megan?
No, it wasn't Megan. It was some video of some guy.
It was Kanye.
It was very. it was very.
He didn't have a hood on, so I don't know.
It was very fast. When did it happen? Okay. Okay. Let me see here. Maybe I'll just edit it out or something.
That would be a good idea.
Oh, really?
Okay, very good idea if I edit it
Yeah,
out.
you can, Tony.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they demonetize me for that. You know.
Imagine they email you and say, "Keep it up."
Yeah.
Keep it
Look
up.
at how
Be careful
professional
how
my
you say
background
that,
is.
Tony.
Yeah. Maybe I just won't post
Very nice there.
Maybe I won't post the show. That way I won't get into trouble at all. So.
Yeah.
Wow, that was
Amazing.
something. I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep tonight.
It was an hour and 18 minutes in. An hour and 18 minutes in.
That was horrific.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. I don't know. Imagine people actually go online, they wait until I say okay, and then they run that. All the work they went to do that, you know?
It might have been live.
Huh?
Time.
It's a hobby.
It's a hobby. Yeah, yeah.
How stupid.
Thank you very much, Megan.
Pinochle.
Yeah, really. How stupid. Maybe.
Well, I mean, I do allow people to see the number you can call to get, onto the Zoom. And that's what happens. That's the downside of it. I've only had it happen. I got bombed once. I don't know if anybody remembers that. And it was one porno clip after another. Boom, 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 boom. And finally, I just was very careful. I don't take names that I haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
But Megan Smith sounded reasonable. All right.
Well, if it's a woman, you can just assume that it's fake.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily. No. Well, for our show, yeah.
Yeah, for this show.
For our show. No, but I mean, Megan Smith seemed reasonable. Sometimes when I see, some guy, with many times a Spanish name has always been the ones that have been bad. I don't know why, but so anyway, I hope you don't have this problem when you're doing a show tonight, Josh.
I don't know. I mean, that was so gross.
Yeah, we'll just block people we don't know, I guess.
Well, just immediately hang up on them. That's what I do. I'm always ready to go.
Yep.
And
I thought it was kind of hot.
You thought it was hot?
No, I'm kidding.
He saw the white hood on the guy's head and said, "That's Kanye." Pointed hood.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't hot.
Well, that was pretty fast.
Yeah.
Fast was good in this case.
And fast was good in this case. Yeah.
Did you take him off or did he hang up?
No, I got rid of him immediately.
Okay. That was quick. Quick fingers.
Yeah, it wasn't up there for more than 2 seconds, I think.
Yeah, a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Ray's hoping that you posted so he can go back.
Well, what I did is I had.
Where was that?
Well, I had myself ready. Okay, I had myself ready in case.
Ray did a screenshot for background, is what he did.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that guy had fast fingers too.
Yeah, well, I got a fast finger for him.
There's no way you can preview the video, huh?
What do you mean? What do you mean I can?
If you're watching on your phone,
can you preview it before you let the guy go on? No.
If you watch on YouTube right now, you can go back.
Yeah.
I'll go do that.
Yeah, you can go back. Oh, you're gonna go back.
I'm watching it for 10 minutes.
You can. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I put it on a loop?
Yeah, loop. Yeah. Put it on a loop.
Sure. We want to see it over and over again.
Just screenshot the background. That's the guy.
That'll be my new background.
Your eyes are gonna.
Right.
Oh yeah. They just don't even think about it.
Okay.
Oh well. Yeah. And if they want to give me a bad time about it, fuck them. It's not my fault. I got rid of them as soon as possible. Yeah.
So what about the girl, the pro ball player she's now in San Antonio in a some kind of military base where they train you to get back into society after being captive for 9 months?
Oh, here's Alex Goldberg. Yeah, I'm going to trust that.
Hey, it's a Jewish show. Come on, get him on there.
No. Alex,
my cousin.
Hey, there's that guy.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, submit Alex Goldberg.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Tony again.
It's my oncologist.
I don't want to. Don't report. Okay, I don't want to report it. Anyway, because if I report it, then they're going to send me a thing saying, well, you really shouldn't put your number out there online, But how are people going to know to call this program if I don't put that link up there?
Right.
It would be nice if they had a system where I could pre-see what the person wanted to do,
Ray, when you go back and look at that, see if it has a Republican flag in the background. It might have been Phil.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you looking?
Yeah, I'm looking now. Oh my God, it is Phil. It's Phil in blackface.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's awful.
It was it.
Yeah,
What was it?
It's some dude in his armchair, you know.
Masturbating.
Yeah. Well, it's yeah.
As quick as
It's only like 2 seconds.
thank God.
Okay.
Yeah. And first Megan Smith flashes up on the screen for quite a while, and then he shows up.
And
Yeah. Oh,
Well, you're
God.
really getting into this, aren't you, Ray?
No. I just wanted to make sure that actually happened.
was
That
that was
wasn't
it
your
was it
face.
just about 2 seconds?
Yeah. It's just a couple seconds.
Yeah. Well, I got rid of it. So
Oh, good.
screw them. I'm not gonna. I can go on there and edit it out, but
I don't think they're gonna even know. Maybe if we keep talking about it, they'll figure it out.
well, let's
If they
see.
it, that means someone is watching the whole program.
Oh, here. Oh, look. Kanye West entered the room.
Oh, I wonder.
This person is not going to get in here. They should give up.
Even if it's the real Kanye West, it's not going to get in.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
I'm not gonna think Kanye West is a phony name. Oh, Kanye's calling my show. This is an exclusive.
Alex Bennett original.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
there's
At
he does
least
like Jews. I mean,
there's at least 3 Jews in this.
Hey, he could be calling.
Bill.
Yeah. What was the guy's name? Alex Goldberg, was it? No, Alexander Goldberg. Yeah.
That'll be the next.
Yeah.
Oh, I was watching that. Alex, you said the other night the Megan and
Harry thing. Yeah.
Harry thing was really good. Yeah, I watched it.
It's amazing you like it, and the other Brian that called last night saw it and really liked it, and I really liked it, and Marjorie really liked it, and yet
You know
it got
what?
43% on Rotten Tomatoes.
But you know, because I didn't know much about her, but then when you hear the story of her before, how much work she used to do in India and Africa, also,
Yeah.
you know, I mean that's for
She had
somebody
some
like
real.
Harry,
Yeah.
that's the ideal person for him. You know, I mean that's
Well,
really
she had some real substance. Oh, here's Andrew Steinberg. They're thinking by being Jewish, they're going to allow me to put them on. Be careful tonight. Only put people on you know tonight. Here.
I'm not even going to talk to my wife tonight. I don't trust anybody.
Yeah, what we're going to do is after this, and a lot of you, if you would call, it would be nice because it would help Josh out. We're going to have Josh do a show, and I'm going to put it out over Facebook, okay? It's going to take me about 3 minutes to get everything up and running, Zoom and so on and so forth. And then just call them and, go over to my Facebook page and just see when it comes up.
I don't have Facebook anymore.
Oh, you don't have... Oh, you can on a browser go facebook.com/A Bennett.
Oh, I guess I can. I don't know. I've never tried that.
Yeah. Here is Adolf Helgenberg.
Are you
gonna call this the
Ray, go back and look at that. That might have been Jack Bishop.
No. It's Helgenberg. Oh. Are we ready yet? Oh, no. So
Just call it the chutzpah hour.
It was Charlie, actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
that's cool.
No, I mean, I know.
You said Jack Bishop.
Well, yeah, but Jack has trouble.
Where's
Never mind.
Charlie?
Yeah. But anyway, so that's what you should do, and of course Josh will try and call that number too, and then I just put it up and let you go ahead and what is that audio coming up there? Huh? I didn't know, couldn't find that. Anyway, and it'll take maybe 2 to 3 minutes for me to do it. Oh, here's Jack Bishop entered the waiting room. I don't believe it. Okay.
Somebody's listening to
His
us.
computer isn't even working. Okay. All right. Anyway.
That was a good accent. It was actually
Yeah,
good.
whoever's doing that's pretty good.
Whoever is doing it is listening to what we're saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The
They
names that
are.
we brought up.
Yeah. Remove.
Santa
There we
Claus.
go. Okay.
Santa Claus is gonna be
Anyway, I want to thank you all for joining me, and I hope you'll stick around and call and join Josh. Thanks very much, Jeff, and thank you, Josh, and thank you, Brian, and thank you, Alvin. And thank you, Tony, and thanks to Kevin, and thanks to Ray. And if you'd all give a big wave goodbye, I'll wave goodbye at you. Okay? All righty. There they go, folks. That's our citizen panel for tonight. They will be here. They'll be here, let's see here, probably next, hopefully, with Josh as he does a show, which will go out over Zoom on my Facebook page, okay? In the meantime, in between time, as always, I'll see you Monday for the pop-up show, and then next Wednesday, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her. Have a nice weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.